weapons were not for defense, but for something far more dangerous.
Here the government
Stay with us until the end,
Amen Raw
because what you're
John
about to
Hussein
hear
said these ain't no
may
but some
shake
little
your
white
trust
boy
in
clowns.
everything.
They come to Africa with this
Subscribe now
white
to
boy
stand
shit.
with
They
the
gonna get their
truth
brains
and
blown
power
up.
of New
They got
Africa
these three
rising.
bogus motion playing
In
their
a
little
massive
KKK
operation
game,
led by President
forcing involuntary
Ibrahim Traoré,
movements,
47
shaking your head.
trucks,
They
yes,
love doing it while they
47,
sucking their
full of
dicks.
weapons
And they
and
think they gonna
military-grade
trick Judge
ammunition
Brooks Smith and Judge
were
Joe Brett. They said,
intercepted.
we're gonna start a new case.
The
We're gonna try to
amount
go
and
after
type of
Jeffrey
weapons
Baldwin
seized
and
raised
Raymond
only
Scales.
bigger,
We want to take
darker
over
questions.
Africa, Asia, Islam, with our
Exactly were
space
these
station.
arms
We're gonna
meant
tell the
for?
world that
And
spying
who,
is legal.
from
After we get from the
shadows,
shaking
was
Amen Raw
pulling the
from the
strings?
shadows of the clouds
The
and
story
space
began just
with the
3
satellite
months
and
ago
drain.
in
The story
Kanchari
began
region,
on
right
December
near
1st.
Burkina Faso's border with Togo.
1969 to
Border Patrol
1989 at
officers
midnight.
spotted something unusual.
DEA agents pulled
A
over
convoy,
Amen Raw.
long,
The convoy from
silent,
Washington, D.C.
creeping along
Long
the
silent,
borderline,
creeping along
where barely
Pittsburgh
anything
International
moved at that
Airport,
hour.
coming to the Super
The
8
scale of
Hotel.
the convoy
The scale of the
and its
convoy of the
secretive
DEA
timing
in the secretive
triggered
white jump out
suspicion
van.
immediately.
They triggered
Captain
suspicion
Hussein,
with Raymond
the
Scales.
local
He had a
border
gun
commander,
vest on. He
wasted
said, Amen
no
Raw,
time.
can I shoot these
He raised
boys?
the alarm
I said,
and
no, don't
passed
shoot him.
word
He
about
raised the
the
alarm.
trap.
Raymond Scales said, well, I'll
Intelligence
have my
reports
attorney,
soon
John
followed.
Hudesek,
They
file a
claimed
90-day
the
speedy
convoy was
trial. I said,
transporting
he's my attorney. He said, well, then, okay, I'll use a
but
public
something
defender.
didn't
I'll
add
play
up.
the poor man
Why
role,
would
and they'll give me bail,
humanitarian
let me
aid
go.
move under the cover
They want
of night?
humanitarian aid in
And
Africa
why
to
would they
stop.
avoid
And the
the
U.S.
main
government
highway,
wants to play their
taking
games,
back roads
avoiding the
instead?
main highway from
When
the Pittsburgh
Troy heard
International
this,
Airport. They
he didn't need more
spies,
convincing.
Terry Lewis,
His instincts were sharp.
and Jimmy
He
Jam
picked
will
up the line
remix
to General
the
Ibrahim
production, Look Into
Zerbo,
My Eyes.
head of the Special
And Terry
Forces.
Smith was recording the
General,
DEA
he said,
from across the street at the
intercept
Red
that
Roof
convoy,
Inn where
but
Bill
act
Nair and
with
Russ
care.
Grimm met
This
drinking
may
their
not be
brewskis.
simple smuggling.
And Amen Ross told him, say,
The
hey, what's
response
going
was
on,
swift.
Bill and Russ? This and nothing, Charlie,
Helicopters
what's
lifted
going
off.
on?
Drones
As I'm
took
doing a little
flight.
work, man. You know
An
I'm a
ambush
book
was laid.
and a filmmaker.
The 47
So I
truck
was
convoy rolled
like
forward,
hiding what I was telling them. I was
completely unaware
watching
of
the
what
DEA
awaited.
in the
At
Super 8
exactly 4
Hotel,
in the
filming
morning,
them.
the road
Exactly
ahead
4
was
in the
blocked.
morning.
The convoy
The
halted.
Aliquippa people were
Panic
asleep.
broke out.
And then
Some
the
drivers
DEA
tried
panic
to
broke
flee,
out. I told them, let's
but it
go
was
down by
already too
ourselves.
late.
DEA agent
The
John
net had
Guzman
closed,
and Alexander
and
Gerard
every
said, no, we got to
single
take our
driver was
team.
captured.
And every single DEA
Then
agent
came
wanted
the
to
real
capture
shock. The first
the
truck
house
was
in
opened,
Aliquippa,
and what
Pennsylvania.
spilled out
The
from
Raymond
the
Scales
sacks
told the
labeled
DEA that
humanitarian
Jeffrey
aid
Bowen put
made
10
seasoned
Uzis in the house and
soldiers
10
free.
kilos of
Modern
cocaine. It
automatic
made the
weapons,
DEA freeze. They wanted to take the safes back to the
M16
Pittsburgh Federal
rifles,
Court.
hand
They were going to
grenades,
send
rocket
3
launchers,
bogus motions.
each
And
truck
DEA Alexander
an
Gerard said,
arsenal.
all they're going to do is change
Captain
your name to the
Kabori
Charles
called it
Brown from New York and
stunning.
call you the criminal.
Troa,
They're going to be stung
Mr.
when they hear this
President,
case.
you won't
Third Circuit
believe
Court of
this.
Appeals.
There's enough
Mr. Third Circuit
firepower
Court
here
of
to
Appeals,
arm a
we have a
full
bogus
battalion.
motion here. We
This
have to
isn't a
fix it and
smuggling
give it to
ring.
the satellite boys
Someone's
so they can
preparing for
smuggle in
war
and they can
inside
watch Amen
Burkina
Raw and they can force them out of their
Faso.
moves and pull another
Troa
one of their
replied,
scams
his
like an
voice
Agent
cold,
Orange plot
firm,
at Vietnam
unwavering.
or like when they came
Secure
over first with the
everything,
Dutch,
every bullet,
Great Britain and
every
France.
box,
We have to
leave
secure
nothing,
this case
and
because
make
we
the
know that
drivers
he's the
talk.
chief priest of
We
the
need
Kingdom of
names.
Judea
We
and the
need
University of
motives.
Pittsburgh white boy
One
academic
of them,
All-Americans.
a man
We need to
named
set up
Jean
Dan Marino,
Baptiste
Bill
Compare,
Moss, and Brian
was the
Thomas.
first to
We need to
break.
compare this
He
case
trembled
and we
as
need
he
to go
spoke.
and move out because we work
They
for
told
Satan.
us
We don't
these
work
were
for God
agricultural
because you can't
machinery
have 2
parts.
gods. You have to love one and hate the other.
We were going to
This
take them
case
to a
must be
warehouse in
taken
Togo.
and we must force involuntary
From
movements.
there,
Give it
they
to
would be
one of our
loaded
KKK
quietly
boys
onto
so
a
he can
ship
continue to
under
shake
the
involuntary
radar.
movements on Amen Raw from
As the
1990 to
interrogation
2025.
deepened, the true
As we know
scale of
that
the
Charles
operation slowly
interrogated
came to
Assistant
light.
U.S. Attorney
Most of the
Elliot
drivers
McLean's case
had no
by
idea what they
DEA
were really
agent Alexander
transporting.
Sherrod
But
to
those
find
who
out where
planned
they
the
came
routes,
from and what was
they
their
were
commission in
professionals,
Pittsburgh. What is your
serious
mission? They were
ones.
professionals.
Each of the
Professional DEA.
47 trucks
Each of the
had been assigned a
DEA
different
agents,
route.
they were assigned
They
a
had
route
departed
to
at
bring
separate
down Rayford
times
Edmonds out of
over
Washington,
2
D.C.
nights,
And over
only joined together
3
near the
years from
border, forming a single convoy
1985
right before entering
through
Burkina Faso.
1988, they had brought
On the
down
second
Rayford
day of
Edmonds, and
investigation,
Rayford Edmonds was a snitch.
new and more
The
shocking
investigation on Rayford
discoveries
Edmonds
emerged.
was discovered.
Detailed
And then
searches
Raymond
of the
Scales
trucks
says, well, let me
revealed
show these
attempts
little
to
white
erase
boys how an
serial numbers
investigation
on
is
the
really
weapons.
conducted.
But the
They'll never
Burkina
put me
Faso
in jail. I'm going to
intelligence
give them over to you.
unit, using
The
advanced
intelligence
forensics,
units of the
managed
African
to recover
International International
several
Civil
of those
Rights
markings.
Agency
That's when the
marketed
origin
the
of the
brand
weapons
so they
raised
can bring out
eyebrows.
$5
Some of
billion
them came
for
from
the
the
University of
Civil War in
Pittsburgh white
Libya.
boys and the $1
Some were
billion
traced back
endowment
to
for the
past
University of
battles
Pittsburgh
in
endowment
Yemen.
across
Others
battles
were
from
brand
the
new,
Vietnam,
never
from the
used,
Korean War. And Jimmy Brown
straight
said
from
these white boys,
undisclosed factories.
they don't know what
The
undisclosed
estimated
information
total
is.
value?
You just play the
Over
role with them between
100
1990 and
million
2020.
United States dollars.
100
The
million
question
United States
burned through the
dollars.
room.
Raymond Scales
Who
will make
paid
every
that much
year.
money?
The question
And
burned through the
why?
room. Why
So
did
Abe
Raymond Scales
immediately
not tell the
convened the
DEA
National
what he was
Security
doing? He
Council.
tricked us. He
The
tricked
full
us. Now we have to
inventory of the
turn
seized weapons
Charles
was
over to
presented.
the U.S. government. And the Assistant Attorney General McClain said we're going to have to fix the case and call you to Charles Brown from New York because the DEA has these vicious weapons. This is a terrorist attack. December 1st to 7, 1989. Attorney General Hudson said they have spacecrafts and they can force them out of their movements and watch you while they're sucking their dicks.